Hello to all viewers of my channel. That quote, wow, that powerful idea from Theodore Roosevelt really just cuts right to the heart of what we're exploring today, doesn't it? It's about that huge, vast difference between a life of daring and a life lived in, well, a great twilight. So today, we're going to dive deep into the core principles from Bodo Schaefer's really influential work, The Laws of Winners. And look, this isn't just about success in, a material way. This is about building a life that genuinely feels fulfilled, a life where you actually go out and get your dreams. I mean, this is the question that keeps so many of us up at night, right? You just feel like you're capable of more, but the daily grind, the routine, all the obligations, they can feel like a heavy anchor holding you down. So what's the real difference maker? What separates those two paths? Well, it starts right here. See, success isn't really about the circumstances you're handed. It's not about luck or your background. It's about a choice, a deliberate, conscious act of will. Everything that follows, every single outcome, it all hinges on one foundational step. One single powerful action. And that's it, to make a true decision. It sounds so simple, but it is the ignition key for the entire journey. And the thing is, most of us, we rarely actually do it. We kind of hedge our bets, we keep our options open, we hesitate. But a real decision? That's an act of pure courage. To really understand the fear that holds us back, just think about this ancient parable for a second. There's a stream, and it reaches the edge of a huge desert. A voice tells it, keep going. But the stream is terrified. I mean, it's never crossed a desert before. It's afraid of losing its very identity, of being changed in a way it can never take back. And this is where the story gets so brilliant. The voice whispers that if it doesn't take this risk, it's just going to stay a swamp, never knowing its true potential. So the stream decides. It allows itself to be transformed. The sun turns it to vapor. The wind carries it across that desert, and it becomes rain falling into a magnificent sea. It had to let go of its old form to become something so much greater.
So, here's the crucial point. A real decision means refusal. Choosing one thing means you are actively refusing everything else. You cannot hold on to the safety of your past while you're reaching for a new future. You have to choose your comfort zone or your dreams. You absolutely cannot have both.
Okay, let's move to the next law and see how this all builds, because once you've decided, you need an engine to power you forward. And that engine is continuous, relentless, personal growth. Stagnation is the real enemy here. There's this great legend that illustrates this choice perfectly. The story goes that God created two ways to live: the life of a shell on the ocean floor, safe, predictable, sure, but monotonous, or the life of an eagle, totally free to soar to the highest peaks, but forced to hunt and fight for its existence every single day. Which life are you choosing? Now, what's really interesting here is the danger it points out. The biggest threat to your growth isn't some big catastrophic event. It's indifference. It's that slow, creeping decline that we just don't notice. You know the metaphor, right? Like a frog in a pot of water that's heating up 1 degree at a time. We just adapt to mediocrity until it's way too late. So how do you fight this? Not with some massive, overwhelming effort that's going to burn you out. No, you fight it with this. Just 1%. A tiny, almost laughably small improvement. The legendary basketball coach Pat Riley knew the power of this. Back in 1986, he asked his elite Lakers players, guys who thought they were already at their peak, for just a 1% improvement in 5 areas of their game. Now, that tiny effort, when it compounded across the whole team, resulted in a staggering 60% improvement in overall performance. And guess what? They won the championship. Now, apply that to your own life. The results can be absolutely explosive. Okay, so you've decided and you're committed to growing. But there's a third pillar that turns all that good intention into actual reality, and it's the principle of immediate, decisive action. You know, the story behind this is just incredible. Back in the 70s, Adidas was a giant, totally untouchable. And when the founders of this tiny new company decided to compete, their own families told them they were crazy. During a really frustrating meeting about how to deal with all the criticism, one of them finally just burst out. Doesn't matter what they say, just do it. And yeah, that company was Nike. That phrase became their internal motto and eventually their world-changing slogan. And this really gets to the core of it all. You can read all the books, watch all the videos, gather all the information in the world. But all that knowledge is completely useless until you pair it with action. Winners aren't the people who know the most. They are the people who do the most with what they know. And man, we get tangled in our own excuses, don't we? These are the comfortable lies we tell ourselves to stay safely in that gray twilight. Oh, I'm not ready yet. The timing just isn't right. I'm afraid of making a mistake. These are the absolute killers of action. The perfect moment, the perfect plan, they don't exist. They are illusions we create to justify not doing anything. So how do you break the cycle? Well, first, just start imperfectly. Just begin. Second, you have to understand that the best learning happens by doing, not by preparing to do. The energy doesn't come before the action, it's a result of it. And finally, you have to embrace mistakes. They aren't failures, they're just data points. They're the building blocks of wisdom and strength. Okay, let's bring all of this home now, because these principles, to decide, to grow, to act, they're not just abstract ideas. They are actively shaping your future, right now, in this very moment. I want you to just think about this for a second. 5 years from today, a completely different person is going to be living your life. They're going to have your keys, sit at your desk, and hang out with your friends. And of course, that person is you. You 5 years from now. See, the person you are going to become is not some matter of fate. That future you is being forged, piece by piece, by the actions you take and the decisions you make or fail to make today. So ultimately, it all comes down to this single question. Every choice you make, every moment you decide to grow, every act of courage today is one more stone laid in the foundation of the person you will be tomorrow. So who are you building? Someone who dared mighty things, or someone who settled for the gray twilight? The choice, as always, is yours. Subscribe to the channel and like, and also suggest your topics for future videos in the comments.